Welcome to the overview of the NAEYC accreditation process. My name is Megan Hickey, and I am a Quality Improvement Specialist on the Quality Improvement and Program Support team within the Accreditation of Early Learning Programs. In this webinar, we will identify the purpose of accreditation, discuss the 4 steps of the NAEYC accreditation process, explore how the steps of the accreditation process link to high quality and continuous improvement. For more than 30 years, NAEYC accreditation of early learning programs has been the national gold standard for quality in early childhood programs across the country. To date, we have accredited more than 7,000 programs serving more than 1 million children. Using a set of 10 research-based standards, NAEYC accreditation partners with early education centers to recognize great work already underway and collaborate on understanding and addressing areas of quality improvement. Research shows a direct correlation between high-quality early learning and positive long-term outcomes in life, including increased educational attainment rates, healthier lifestyles, and more successful careers. NAEYC accreditation enables centers to provide a solid foundation for all children by helping teachers and staff at early education programs develop a shared understanding and commitment to true quality. This process leads to increased staff morale, greater staff retention, and an overall more positive, energetic work atmosphere. NAEYC accreditation also enables families to effectively and easily recognize quality early education programs and feel comfortable knowing that their children are receiving a high-quality, standards-based education that will prepare them for future success. You'll see here on the slide the benefits for all stakeholders in the NAEYC accreditation process. The framework of the NAEYC accreditation standards and criteria is focused on best practices in the field and the corresponding benefits to stakeholders in early childhood education, including children, teachers, program administration, and relevant partnerships. This graph illustrates the importance placed on practices that benefit children, the most important stakeholder in the NAEYC accreditation process. The first 5 of the NAEYC accreditation standards are focused on the advancement of children's learning and development and include Standard 1, Relationships, Standard 2, Curriculum, Standard 3, Teaching, Standard 4, Assessment of Child Progress, and Standard 5, Health. Standard 6, Teachers, is focused on qualifications, knowledge, and professional commitment of a program's teaching staff. Standard 7, Families, and Standard 8, Community Relationships, focus on the relevant partnerships that program establish with both families and the community. Standard 9, Physical Environment, and Standard 10, Administration, focus on the program itself and its management by relevant administration. Collectively, the 10 standards define what NAEYC believes every early childhood education program should be. During the accreditation process, programs demonstrate proficiency in each standard by providing evidence that proves they meet specific criteria within each of these standards. Revisions to the current criteria are currently done every April and October. Next, we'll review an example of how the standards and criteria are organized. Each early childhood program standard is assigned a number from 1 to 10. Within each standard, there are topic areas identified by uppercase letters that group similar criteria together. The individual criteria are statements of best practice and are assigned a 2-digit number. Some criteria include indicators that highlight essential components of meeting this criterion. Indicators are identified by lowercase letters. The criteria within each standard is used to measure whether or not each standard is met. Each criterion is referenced by a criterion number. Consider the example 1E04 as a way that criteria are numbered and organized. The first number in each criterion number refers to the standard. Criterion 1E04 is part of Standard 1, Relationships. The letter that follows the standard number refers to the topic area. There are several topic areas within each standard that highlight the big ideas and more fully express the meaning and value of the standard. Criterion 1E04 is part of topic area 1E, addressing challenging behaviors. The 2-digit number in the criterion number refers to the specific criterion itself. There are several criteria within each topic area that provide specific guidance to guide program plans, policies, and practices. Programs should consider both the standard and topic area in which the criterion is placed as they work to develop their understanding of each individual criterion. In this example, Criterion 1E04 is broken down into indicators. The first indicator of Criterion 1E04 is listed on the slide. Remember, the indicator identifies key components of the criterion that should be placed in your program evidence. Each criterion has both an age category and an assessment category designation. Some criteria are designed for specific age categories and are not intended to be applied to other age categories. The age category designation tells you which age category each criterion should be applied. Age categories include universal, which indicates that the criterion applies to all age groups, and then infants, toddler 2, preschool, and kindergarten. The assessment category affects whether or not the criterion will be assessed during the site visit and the effect that criterion may have on the site visit decision. Assessment categories include required, always assessed, randomly assessed, and emerging practice criteria. Required and always assessed criteria will always be assessed during a site visit, and all required criteria must be met in order for a program to become accredited. Randomly assessed and emerging practice criteria may or may not be assessed as part of the site visit, and emerging practice criteria will not negatively impact a program's accreditation decision if they are not met. It is very important that programs understand that they will not be assessed on all criteria during the site visit and that programs are not informed of the specific criteria upon which they are assessed during a site visit. These practices are in place to maintain the integrity of the accreditation system. Consider example criterion 3C02, which states that teaching staff supervise infants and toddler 2s by sight and sound at all times. This criterion applies to infants and toddler 2s and is a required criterion. It must be met in order for a program to become accredited, and this indicates that criterion 3C02 will only be considered within the groups that contain infants and toddler 2s. Now we will review the 4 steps of the accreditation process. NAEYC intended each step to build on each other to help programs prepare better to meet the requirements. The process encourages success as programs move forward through the steps. Step 1 consists of 2 parts, enrollment and self-study. The self-study process is open to all programs to look at what your program is doing well and areas you can improve. Quality improvement means that it's open-ended, it's program-paced process and self-directed. It acts as a practice run for programs to make improvements before officially applying for accreditation. Self-study is an entirely self-reflective process. NAEYC will not ask for any evidence from this step from programs. Programs can use NAEYC's self-assessment tools to determine whether or not their program is ready to be accredited. A program must enroll in the accreditation process by downloading an enrollment form from the NAEYC website and submitting it along with the applicable fees. Any program is welcome to participate in the self-study process. There are no requirements to meet this step. Upon receipt of the enrollment form and fee, NAEYC will send the program a digital copy of the self-study kit. The self-study kit is composed of a Getting Started book that guides programs as they begin the accreditation process, as well as standards books for each standard to serve as a resource to help your program understand the standards and how to meet them within your program. It is important to note that a program's enrollment is valid for 2 years after submitting the enrollment form. This gives most programs ample time to engage in the self-study process fully before moving on to Step 2 of the NAEYC accreditation process. For programs that need to remain in self-study for more than 2 years, an annual enrollment maintenance fee will be required to maintain enrolled status until the program is ready to move to Step 2. The first book in the self-study kit, called Getting Started, provides programs with guidance on conducting 6 major self-study tasks. The first step is to build shared understanding of the standards and criteria and the accreditation process as a whole. It is important to get teaching staff and families on board with working towards higher levels of quality. The second step is to gather evidence. Evidence may include staff and family handbooks, lesson plans, photographs, or notes from observations that tell the story of the program from a variety of perspectives. The third step is to demonstrate strengths and weaknesses based on the program's evidence. After determining the strengths and weaknesses, the program conducts the fourth task of the self-study by developing improvement plans to improve quality in targeted areas of the program. Based on the targeted improvement plans, programs will move forward with the fifth task of the self-study and actually make the quality improvements and document the results. When the improvements have been completed, the program moves on to the final self-study task and evaluates the results of the improvement efforts and determines next steps. Next steps could include revisiting a goal that wasn't successfully achieved, moving on to a new quality improvement goal, or perhaps moving on to step 2 in the NAEYC accreditation process. This is especially relevant to changes we are making in the current system. The next step in the process is the application and self-assessment step. To begin step 2, programs must download the application from the NAEYC website, complete it, and submit it along with the appropriate fee. The purpose of the application is to demonstrate that your program meets all eligibility requirements and to select a candidacy due date for the submission of materials for step 3, candidacy. To show your program meets eligibility requirements, a program must answer straightforward questions within the application regarding licensing and regulatory status, number of children enrolled, and other eligibility requirements. The program should review the eligibility requirements on the NAEYC website or within the Getting Started book in the Self-Study Kit. So the purpose of self-study is primarily program improvement. There is no one way to complete self-study, and the results need not be shared with NAEYC. In contrast, the self-assessment must follow specific guidelines outlined in the Guide to Self-Assessment. In addition, programs must prepare to share their self-assessment findings with NAEYC and must be sure that all families, teaching staff members, and members of the program's governance structure have the opportunity to participate in the assessment process. The evidence programs prepare and compile is organized into 5 distinct sources of evidence that must be developed during self-assessment. The first is the program portfolio, which is written or photographic evidence that applies to the entire program. The second is classroom portfolios, which is also written and photographic evidence that applies to individual classrooms and is created for each age class of children in your program. The next is family surveys and also teaching staff surveys, which represents the quality of your program from the perspectives of the families and teaching staff that are served. The fifth source of evidence is observable criteria. Observable evidence is gathered during your self-assessment through practice observations of your program. The data you compile during these observations will be organized into your observable criteria source of evidence. Preparation of the observable criteria ensures your program is ready to demonstrate how to meet specific criteria during the site visit. To understand the work that must be completed in preparation for your candidacy due date, programs should review the documents on the NAEYC Accreditation of Early Learning Programs website. These tools include program and classroom portfolio tools that mirror the official tools used by NAEYC assessors during the visit. These tools present criteria at the indicator level along with helpful guidance that clarify how each indicator is assessed. Refer to these Guide to Self-Assessment documents for information about accessing and using these enhanced tools. Once you have previewed these tools and resources, you should take a close look at your program to gauge the amount of time needed to complete the work in self-assessment and prepare to meet the candidacy requirements. This information will certainly affect your candidacy due date. These tools within the Torch resource assist programs as they prepare and compile evidence that demonstrates how they meet applicable criteria and as they prepare to meet candidacy requirements. Programs that successfully complete these tools are adequately prepared to move towards step 3 by completing candidacy materials. So step 3 is when a program will submit their candidacy materials. The final thing your program needs to consider before choosing a candidacy due date on their application is the effect your selected candidacy due date has on scheduling your site visit. Programs are provided a 6-month window during which their visit will occur if they are accepted as a candidate. Programs must be ready for a site visit at any time during the 6-month window, with the exception of 1 exclusion days allotted to a program each month. The only time during the scheduling window that your program would be ineligible for a site visit is when the program is unable to provide an assessor with the opportunity to observe each eligible age group and 50% of all age groups it serves. Programs must be in operation at a level in which an assessor can conduct a visit for at least 3 of the 6 months during the scheduling window. The 6-month window during which a program visit could occur begins the day after the program's selected candidacy due date. Programs should consider the effect of the selection on their candidacy due date has on their scheduling window for the site visit before selecting their candidacy due date within the application. Once you have made all the appropriate considerations in regards to the selection of your candidacy due date, you are ready to select it within the application. In the application, programs are given 3 candidacy due date choices. The candidacy due dates available depend on the time frame during which the application is submitted, which is referred to as the application cycle. Programs should review the NAEYC website to ensure they are prepared to meet all candidacy requirements, including those addressing educational qualifications of the program administrator and teaching staff. Programs will need to include applicable documentation of their program administrator and teaching staff's qualifications, including transcripts, diplomas, CDA certificates, and more within the candidacy materials that are submitted on the selected candidacy due date. Selecting a date allows the opportunity to observe all eligible groups at least 50% for at least 3 of the 6 months to the corresponding scheduling window. The purpose of Step 3 candidacy is to demonstrate key components of high-quality programming and show your program is prepared to receive a site visit. Programs must complete program-specific candidacy materials and submit them along with the appropriate fee to NAEYC headquarters on or before their candidacy due date. Within the candidacy materials, programs will answer questions and submit documentation to show they are meeting all candidacy requirements, which include high-quality programming. Transcripts, diplomas, CDA certificates, and more must be submitted as part of the candidacy materials to demonstrate how your program meets candidacy requirements that address qualifications. The candidacy materials also require your program to demonstrate its preparedness for the site visit by answering specific questions about the evidence you have compiled in the 5 sources of evidence during self-assessment. For example, you may be required to report a specific piece of evidence of your program included in the classroom portfolio to demonstrate how criterion 1A01 is met. During self-assessment, programs prepare evidence that demonstrate how they meet all applicable criteria and organize that evidence into 5 sources of evidence. Programs are only asked to report on the evidence that was compiled for a subset of criteria within the candidacy materials. This allows the NAEYC Academy to spot check the programs on a subset of criteria to ensure that they are on the right track and ready for a site visit. The evidence programs report on within the candidacy materials is based on a randomly selected subset of criteria that is unique to each program. Candidacy materials are only made available to the programs 8 weeks prior to the candidacy due date. Therefore, programs should prepare evidence for all criteria during self-assessment to be prepared to report on evidence for the random subset of criteria that is addressed within their candidacy materials. After submitting candidacy materials, programs must await their candidacy decision. The 6-month window during which a site visit could occur begins on the day after the candidacy due date. Programs will be notified of their candidacy decision within the same 6-month window. Your program's candidacy decision may not be made until well within the 6-month window during which the site visit could occur, while a neighboring program may receive its site visit right away. This is because candidacy materials are reviewed on a rolling basis. Regardless of when your program receives a candidacy decision, NAEYC is committed to providing a visit to all programs that are accepted as a candidate within the 6-month window that follow the candidacy due date. We will ensure that there is an ample time for a site visit following even the latest candidacy decisions. Programs must provide their assessor with a detailed calendar for each month of the scheduling window. All program closures, including holidays and professional development days, must be reported. In addition, the program has an opportunity to choose exclusion days in each month throughout the scheduling window. Exclusion days are days in which the site visit will not occur. Many programs use exclusion days for scheduled field trips or days when special programming affects their regularly scheduled day. Step 4, meeting and maintaining the standards, includes the site visit. The purpose of the site visit is for programs to demonstrate to a NAEYC assessor how they meet the standards. To meet this end, programs share prepared documentation with a NAEYC assessor and invite the assessor into their program to conduct live observations. During the site visit, The assessor will review written and photographic documentation within the portfolios, as well as results from the teaching staff survey and family surveys that were prepared during self-assessment and reported on during candidacy. In addition, the assessor will observe the program in action. Throughout the accreditation process thus far, programs have compiled evidence for all applicable criteria during self-assessment and reported on a subset of criteria during candidacy. During the site visit, programs are assessed on another subset of criteria. The specific criteria that is included on this subset is determined by the assessment category assigned to each criterion and may overlap with the criteria that was reported during candidacy. After a program is accepted as a candidate for accreditation by NAEYC, they will be contacted by a NAEYC assessor. While the NAEYC Academy is located in Washington, D.C., NAEYC assessors are located in different regions throughout the country. The assessor schedules and conducts the site visit, then sends the data collected during the site visit back to NAEYC for scoring so that an accreditation decision can be rendered. Once the program's calendar within the scheduling window has been set, the assessor will contact the program to notify it of the beginning of its 15-day window. The 15-day window encompasses 15 consecutive business days during which a site visit could occur. During the 15-day window, the assessor will notify the program that the site visit will occur on the next business day. Remember, the visit can occur at any time during a scheduling window after the program's schedule has been set. Therefore, a program's 15-day window may be scheduled later in the scheduling window, and the site visit itself can occur at any point during that 15-day window. All programs will receive the appropriate notification regarding the 15-day window and the site visit, but the timing of the visit varies from program to program. Following the site visit, the NAEYC assessor will send all data collected during the site visit to the NAEYC Academy to be scored. When the site visit data is scored, it must reflect the following in order for programs to become accredited. 100% of all required criteria must be met, and based on the criteria upon which your program is assessed during the site visit, at least 80% of the criteria must be met in each standard, with a score of 70% or more in each classroom observed. If your program achieves accreditation after the site visit, congratulations! Following the achievement of accreditation, programs will submit an annual report at the end of each year. The purpose of the annual report is to ensure that accredited programs continue to meet the standards and criteria, to increase accountability of the accreditation system for children, families, and all stakeholders, and to provide NAEYC with the most up-to-date information related to the program's current daily operations and its characteristics. Programs will need to submit annual reports and annual accreditation fees during the first, second, third, and fourth year of your 5-year accreditation term at NAEYC. These reports are due on your program's accreditation anniversary date. You will notice there is no annual report due during the last year of your accreditation term. When renewing your program's NAEYC accreditation, a separate fee is for the intent to renew and renewal materials is not required. However, a 5th-year annual accreditation fee is required. In order to seamlessly transition into a new 5-year NAEYC accreditation term, you will submit your program's 5th-year annual accreditation fee along with a remittance notice. By year 5, your program should be well underway in the renewal process, and your program will have other opportunities to share evidence of ongoing quality with NAEYC. And remember, your program's accreditation anniversary date is listed on your NAEYC accreditation certificate. The purpose of the requirements during the accreditation maintenance phase is to ensure that accredited programs continue to meet NAEYC standards and criteria, increase accountability of the NAEYC accreditation system, and to provide NAEYC with up-to-date information about the program's operations and characteristics. Throughout the 5-year accreditation term, there are a number of requirements that provide the NAEYC early learning programs with evidence that a program is continuing to meet NAEYC's high standards of excellence. To keep NAEYC up to date on changes within a program, there are 4 options. There's annual reports, which you fill out each year, a self-report, which is to provide programs with the opportunity to keep NAEYC updated with programmatic changes that occur in a program at any time during a program's 5-year term of accreditation. Programmatic changes must be reported within 30 days to NAEYC Academy. These can include things like change of director, change of administrator, change in location, etc. We also have 72-hour notifications if something occurs in your program that will impact your licensing or serving children. And we have a feedback form on our website where programs, families, and stakeholders can provide feedback on programs. There are 3 possible outcomes for each method of input regarding NAEYC accredited programs. The first is that no further information is needed and your accreditation is maintained. The second is additional verification is required, which results in a verification visit or additional documentation. The third possible outcome is that your accreditation is revoked and you are encouraged to go back to the enrollment step to re-engage with the process when you are ready for high-quality practice. NAEYC Accreditation of Early Learning Programs has various ways that we support programs and that programs can connect. The first is the program record that provides programs with resources and important information about your program's NAEYC accreditation. All currently accredited programs that have submitted the enrollment form have access to their program record. Additionally, you can attend conference sessions, seminars, and webinars that we update our programs on regularly. We have program news, which are our electronic updates that provide programs with monthly updates on things happening here at NAEYC, and announcements of helpful resources for NAEYC accredited programs or programs in the accreditation process. You can sign up to receive these useful newsletters on our website. There's local support for programs that you can connect with a local accreditation facilitation project, or AFP, or a NAEYC affiliate to learn about opportunities for your program to receive technical assistance and or funding as it works to earn and maintain NAEYC accreditation. These 2 sources are great resources for programs to network with other programs on the local level. The NAEYC Accreditation Training Center, located on the NAEYC website, focuses on developing and deliver training programs needed to better understand and navigate the NAEYC accreditation process. You can find different webinars, presentations, and different information about upcoming conferences and seminars on this section of the website. Additionally, the Quality Improvement and Program Support Team is a regionalized service that provides you a dedicated program support staff to contact within your region. You can schedule an on-site training or a consultation with them on our website using the regional support. Next steps for your program would be to schedule a consultation with your program support directed person to discuss the next options for going through the accreditation process and if you have any questions at this time. Following that, you would enroll in self-study to locate resources and tools on our website and to sign up for our monthly accreditation electronic update, the program news, to make sure you're up to date on anything happening here at NAEYC. Following that, when you're ready, you would apply for accreditation. Thank you for your time, and if you should have any further questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us at 1-800-424-2460 or email programsupportteam@accreditation.information@naeyc.org. Thank you.